If you're a woman over 40 or 50 and you're thinking, it's got to be more simple than this, and you're hearing all of the noise when it comes to your health and your fitness and aging and optimizing your health and HRT, if there's one thing that you can take away from this, it's this. Getting healthy and optimizing your body does not need to be complicated. Social media wants you to believe that you need 10 supplements and you need extreme routines or some fancy hack, but you don't. Women who succeed in their health and their fitness and optimizing their health and fitness and aging strong, they keep it simple. They stay consistent and they ignore all of the noise. All of that noise is there to distract you and make you feel like you just need one more thing. Well, you don't. Let's keep things simple. I'm here to help you keep it simple. Your body's going to respond to simple, consistent. Your body needs clarity, not chaos. And that's what we're bringing to ourselves when we're being drawn from one place to another and listening to all these different messages. So if that's you and you feel like you're struggling, this message is for you. This episode is for you. Let's get into it. Hey girl, welcome back to our show. How you doing today? I hope you're having a fantastic day. Thank you once again for tuning in to our favorite podcast of all time, Rock That Fitness with Anna Rockstar. Yours truly. Today, this episode is going to basically be an update. I've been talking about it, right? I've been kind of dropping hints that I probably need to do a little like update episode because there's a lot that's happened over the past several months. And I don't want to just share just because I want to talk all about me. It's not that. Really hope that by me sharing the things that I have to share today, that you can gain some insight into your own health and fitness. And, I just want to share the things that I have been going through in the past, I don't know, year and a half, even beyond that. But so you can know that I'm just like you. I'm navigating this life and everything affects everything. And I just want to normalize everything that you and I are going through, that we're all, goodness gracious, excuse me. See, I'm not even going to edit this. It's normal to, need to clear your throat, right? But basically, I'm just hoping as I share what I have to share today, that it just normalizes highs and lows in our lives. And everything that I'm doing in my own health and fitness journey is the same method, the Rockstar method, the Rock That Fitness method, the Rockstar way, whatever you want to call it. This is how I coach inside of Rock That Fitness. So if anything that you hear today makes you think, I want support with this, then I want to encourage you to hop on the Rock That Fitness priority list. And the link is going to be in the show notes. So just grab that, go get on the priority list. So that way you'll be the first to know when we open the doors back up to Rock That Fitness. You'll stay up to date. Okay. So today I am going to be going over several things that are going to cover stuff like hormones, like HRT, hormone replacement therapy. And I'm going to talk about my physique and some of the challenges and some of the things that I have gone through over the past year. And I'm going to talk about injuries. We all are dealing with either injuries or limitations and how I'm doing that myself, as well as preparing for an upcoming big bike ride that's coming up. And so as I talk about these things, I just want to invite you to reflect on your own life and how you are navigating these same things. Because if you're listening, I'm just imagining that you are a woman that's over 40 and a woman over 50, or maybe you are a woman over 60. But nonetheless, we are aging and we want to age strong. Hang on, I'm going to clear my throat. Let's take a moment here to take a chug of the jug. Cheers. Cheers to all my ladies out there working and watching the YouTube episode, right? Shout out to who am I shouting out to? To Jennifer, to Felicia, to Tree, Though you guys, y'all are amazing. I'm shouting out to you because you inspired me to say more about the fact that our podcast episode is on YouTube. So, cheers. Goodness, I don't know why I'm having so much trouble clearing my throat today. Anyways, let's get on with it, shall we? So, like I said, everything that I'm coaching on and I'm going to talk about today, if you feel like you want support from a coach that knows, has been there, and you want the love, support, and encouragement of a community of women like me, like you, then get on that priority list. Goodness, I really didn't know that my throat was going to be like this today. What is happening? I have no idea. So, again, the reason why I am sharing my journey with you today is because, I know I am a coach. I'm a nurse. I'm a leader in a lot of different ways and have been for years. But the thing is, we're just human. I'm just as human as the next person, and my life and myself as a coach, even I am evolving just like you are. We're constantly growing and evolving, and anything that I am experiencing or learning along the way, I believe that um I have a duty to share that with anybody and everybody. If I've learned something, I want to share that. I want to pass that on to you, and in hopes that it will help you along your own fitness journey. And growth happens in seasons, and we have these seasons. You may be maybe you don't have kids, but you still have seasons in your life, right? And so for myself and many of us and many of the clients that I serve, we go through these seasons where our kids are growing up, they're teenagers, they're graduating from high school, and we're sending them off into the world wherever they end up going. And then we become empty nesters, right? This is just kind of like what traditionally happens. And then we have our parents are aging, and we're dealing with that as well. And then we're aging and we are navigating our health and our fitness, and we're thinking about the future. We're thinking about the future. And I don't know about you, but I often do think about the end, and not in a like, how can I put this? Not in a way that's like, bad or ugly, just, you know, understanding that we aren't going to be living here like this forever. Like, we have mortality. And I believe that when we think about our end, or, the end of our life, or not being here anymore, I think it motivates us to do better. I think it motivates us to make the most of every moment of our day, of our life, right? And so we're thinking about these things. And then we're thinking about, as we are getting older, and we are thinking about how we can stay healthy, strong, and fit. And then there's the season of, maybe you have kids that are having kids. Now you're becoming a grandparent, and that's not me yet. Don't rush it. I'm not in a hurry. And many of you have been following my journey for years now. It's crazy to say that. But it's kind of like we're family, because you have been following me since my kids were pretty young. It's the craziest thing. But anyway, we're thinking about that, right? Becoming a grandparent and how we navigate being a grandparent and being there for our kids, and then our kids' kids, and wanting to optimize our health and our fitness along the way so that we can actually really partake and just enjoy our families, and truly enjoy our lives. So, with that said, I'm going to dive into talking about my own journey in terms of, I want to start out by talking about, because I haven't talked about my hormone therapy, my hormone replacement therapy in a long time. Now, if you're new to me, I will let you know that I am 54, and this month I'm going to be 55, and I am proud of aging strong and healthy and fit. But when people, I don't talk a lot about it, but I'm happy to. It's just that I tend to focus a lot on just all of the basics, because that's really what it comes down to. Because here's the thing. If you're watching social media, if you're watching the news, they are talking about all of these things, lots of different topics that can just sort of drive us crazy and think this is too complicated. And when things get complicated, our brain just wants to check out. So I don't talk about all of these nuances and all of these different things because I want to help us all focus on what really matters. And that is truly the basics. Yes, supplements can help. Yes, hormone replacement, absolutely. If you're a candidate for it and you want that, I know it's not for everybody, then that's very helpful and we can optimize in this way. But again, I don't focus on all of these things. Okay. I am your coach that believes in simple because simple is truly sustainable. And those of us who are following the simple, sustainable plan consistently, we are the ones that are really aging strong, healthy, and optimized. And then we'll discover along the way, how can we optimize in one area or another? Or do we actually need optimization? So it's kind of why I want to talk about this, and I'll kind of share my journey along the way and what happened with me when it came to hormone replacement therapy. I will tell you, in my late 40s, it crossed my mind. I didn't really know a lot about it. And I thought to myself, I wonder if my mom was ever on HRT. And found turns out she wasn't. She never did. She didn't know anything really about it. She had heard about it. I think she had heard stories about how it wasn't healthy for you and you know, the doom and gloom of it. So she never even looked that way. So I didn't think a lot about it. I kind of watched my mother and thought, wow, she's handling life without it. And I'm going to keep on optimizing my health with my fitness and my strength training, my cardio, and really dialing in my nutrition. But then, so I was like, I will take care of this when I need it. It's kind of like I will cross this bridge when I get to the bridge. Right. And that's kind of how I thought about it. Cause I heard people talking about hormone therapy and needing to boost their testosterone, progesterone, estrogen, and all these kind of things. Well, naturally, as I was aging, I was learning more about it. And, I thought, well, when I need it, I will get it. So I thought I'll just wait for the symptoms. And when the symptoms arise, then I will take care of them. But why worry myself thinking about all this kind of stuff if I wasn't even having symptoms yet? So that's kind of how you can know, like, kind of how I was, navigating my thought processes around hormone therapy. I would go to the gynecologist, annual gynecology, right? We go to our exam and every year there were 2 years in a row. I was beyond 50 already. And my gynecologist was, I was getting the phone call about my labs. Things were great, but they were telling me that I was low on testosterone. And I remember this very clearly when I got this one call because I was actually in the gym. I'm not going to forget this. And here I am pumping iron while this lady on the phone is calling me to tell me my lab results and that my doctor is recommending that I do testosterone. And she was explaining all this to me and telling me my lab results and the numbers. And I remember while she was on the phone with me, I'm pretty sure, yeah, I was definitely pumping. I was pumping iron. I'm trying to think, what exercise was I actually doing? Yeah. Anyways, I was doing leg work. I know that. And I was looking in the mirror at my muscles and I was like, I don't need testosterone. And she was telling me all of the symptoms that I need to look out for. I was like, I don't even have. She's like, well, if you feel like you're, getting low energy, you're not feeling like you're able to really, do your strength training like you want to and build muscle. I'm like, I'm doing great. Looking in the mirror and I'm like, flexing. I'm thinking, I don't need testosterone. Look at me. And so that's kind of how I thought about it. I was like, I'll let you know when I need it. So things we do need to think about when it comes to testosterone or, getting these things is like how is our metabolism doing? How is our stress recovering from our workouts? All of these kind of things, we do need to be paying attention to the biofeedback. But also, here's the thing when it comes to HRT, why I personally didn't go running to it and why I don't recommend that everybody go running right away to HRT, Because think about it, if you haven't even optimized your activity level, your nutrition, and working on all of these basics, then you can optimize with hormone replacement therapy. Yes, there might be some arguments for that. Like, yeah, but if I might need some testosterone because, I don't even have energy to go work out. Well, okay, you're right. You're right. Either way, this was my way. I'm just saying that for many of us who are just entering this phase of our lives, are we doing the basics first and then seeing where we need to go from there to optimize, right? I'm not, it's going to be up to you. This is your journey. So you know your body well. Trust yourself to know, are you doing everything that you know to do? Um, yeah, but hormone replacement therapy, I believe in it, obviously. So what I did, I started to experience the symptoms. This was how old was I? 53. Yeah. Yeah, definitely when I was like heading into 52, 53 years old. And obviously this is different for everyone, right? And I wasn't even sure at the time because I didn't know if I had actually entered into menopause because I had an ablation on my uterus. So I didn't even know when my last period was, right? Even though I was probably still experiencing those phases. Um, but yeah, menstrual phases and all that. But I wasn't having a period because I had an ablation. So again, I was waiting for the symptoms. And to know that you're in full blown menopause, you know that you will have ceased having a menstrual period for a full 24 months, a full year before you can actually say, yeah, you are in full blown menopause. But so here are the symptoms that I was dealing with: sleep disturbances, night sweats. I have this stuff written down. I just thought of another one. I would have anxiety. Like, I was never a person with anxiety. Like, where was this coming from? That was another one. And again, the night sweats. But night sweats was something back in my, 40s, late 40s, early 50s, when I was like having them mostly whenever I would drink wine, especially wine. Alcohol. Having the alcohol in my system, I knew was actually exasperating the situation. So when I eliminated that, um, the night sweats definitely decreased, almost completely went away. But then I would still from time to time have them. I never had hot flashes that everybody talks about, this hot flash where you like all of a sudden get heated from head to toe. Daytime, never had any of that during the daytime. I would only have night sweats. So night sweats, and then low libido. Now, I'll tell you right now, girl, between me and you, this was the one symptom that I was like, that's it. We're not tolerating this. And need I say more? Dryness. Okay. Need I say more? This was not approved by me. And then it's like, because I believe strongly in a long, healthy, strong sex life, because your sex life, living your life, that's part of life. That's part of the human enjoyment and pleasure and health. It's a healthy thing. So when that started to decline, I was like, yeah, now we really got to take care of this. So I finally did talk to my gynecologist, and he just wanted to prescribe me a pellet. And being a nurse and understanding medication, understanding absorption of medication and how that works, I was like, this is not approved by me. I asked, could I go ahead and get testosterone injections? Because I wanted to control the dosage and titrate if needed, depending on the blood work. And he was like, no, I only do this. And all of my patients, they do well on pellets and blah, 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 pellet, this and that. But like I said, and I'm not going to get into all of the details of this, okay? But I will say, I wanted to know exactly what dosage I was going to be taking, and I wanted to take it in a frequency, in a way throughout the week where it would be, balanced and leveled out week to week, and not wonder how my body is absorbing said medication, right? So, yeah, I am not a fan of a pellet. I said no. And so this was when I started to look for other options. And, long story short, I decided, you know what, I'm going to check out Merrick Health. And Merrick Health is an optimization group online. It's all fully online. It's virtual. And I learned about it. Long story short, I took the leap into Merrick Health. So Merrick Health got the consultation. I paid for it. I paid for the full comprehensive panel, and they send the orders for all of your labs. And I'm talking everything. They do over 26 biomarkers for your health. All of your systems are going to be covered in this comprehensive panels, metabolic, sex hormones, you name it. Everything is covered in this comprehensive lab stuff. It was amazing. And I was like, this is so cool. And then, I had a health coach following me. This was back in May of 2024. So it's been well over a year and a half now that I actually took the leap into Merrick Health. And I've been so satisfied ever since. And so what happens is you do this, I was overseen by a health coach, and I got to see a provider, of course, on an online call, went over everything, all reviewed all of my labs with me, discussed all of everything, which by the way, at the time was pretty darn optimized because I'm pretty conscientious when it comes to my fitness and my nutrition and my taking care of getting sleep and recovery and stress management. So they were actually surprised at the results of everything. But yeah, there were areas that could be improved, and they were going to be improved because my body was no longer producing as much testosterone. So at the time, progesterone was needed and the testosterone was needed. A couple of precursors, like DHEA, and pregnenolone. Those are just precursors. They help the other hormones, work better. They trigger them to work, I guess I should say. I try to keep things simple, okay? So over time, we would have another. So I got on these the hormone replacement to give back my body what it was no longer producing, just to optimize. And here's the thing about this. I'll talk about that in a minute in my notes. It's a little bit further down. We did another set of labs 3 months later, had to adjust the medications because something was a little bit too high, something was a little bit too low, adjusting. So I had a couple of different comprehensive labs. Again, not comprehensive, I should take that back, dialed in labs. So they would just pick certain ones, and then that were based off of what hormone replacements I was taking, so that we could see where was my body on this. And finally, after a full 4 to 5 months, I had gotten dialed in. And I actually, too, I didn't even mention this, is I didn't realize at the time that I was having low thyroid. So thyroid supplementation as well. I was like really surprised. So then I had some injuries and all these kind of things going on. So, ladies, as we're aging, there's things that are going to happen, not just aging, but life is happening. There was a lot of things happening too in my life. So during that time, I had extra weight gain that I couldn't really, what was I attributing it to? Attributing it to the injury that I had at the time, which was a knee thing. It was a knee injury. So I wasn't putting out as much activity because of it. So I hadn't dialed in my energy balance at the time. And I was slowly creeping up with weight. But then we had the added situation with the hormones that were not optimized. So I had all of this going on, right? Think for yourself, where are you at with this stuff? And I'm only just saying, like, I don't know, but start paying attention to your own personal, biofeedback. How is your rest? Are you having night sweats? Are you getting optimized sleep? Now, I'm just going to tell this little side note about trackers. I know people like to track their sleep with their little, their sleep trackers and fitness trackers and do all this tracking, these devices that track stuff. But let's be real. I don't need a device to tell me if I'm getting enough, not enough, because we can count the hours we sleep, but I don't need a tracker to tell me I'm getting optimized sleep. I know I'm getting optimized sleep when I wake up in the morning, I feel refreshed and energized. I know I'm getting optimal sleep when I feel refreshed, energized all day until I get to bed. I know I didn't get optimal sleep if I'm waking up tired and groggy, or I'm hitting a wall at 2 in the afternoon and I'm tired and dragging the rest of the day. I don't need a tracker. I don't need I don't need a sleep tracker to tell me this stuff. Keep it simple. So just think about these little things as you're navigating your own health and fitness. These are things that you can pay attention to and know. Like, trust yourself. Start paying attention. Start logging it if you need to. So I will say this. I have felt so good over the past year for sure, because after we dialed in my meds, my supplements, it's been a good year that we got dialed in. And I will tell you, I feel amazing. And I don't know what it would be like if I was not optimized. Like I say, I don't talk a lot about this. So I know that a lot of it does have to do with the basics that I take care of every single day, but I also know that thank God for the optimization that I'm doing for my hormones and also for my metabolism with that little bit of thyroid supplement that my body needs. So I don't need to figure out what I need to sleep. I know a lot of women are trying to find different supplements, magnesium, melatonin, whatever you are doing, but it could be very simply that you're not getting enough progesterone. I know that it's just been night and day for me. I don't need any of those supplements. I'm getting everything I need optimized through Merrick Health, and I have energy and I definitely have strength, and girl, I got the libido. And I've got so much clarity of mind. I don't have foggy brain, very clear. It's so great. And also, I should mention a lot of this too is me eliminating alcohol from my body a long time ago. I think it's been a couple years now, and I don't even count anymore. But I just know that that was a really big, wonderful improvement to my health and my fitness and my mental health. And it's been wondering. That's my notes. It's been wonderful. I'm firing on all cylinders as I tell you, wondering. I'm wondering. Um, but why does this matter for women over 40? Hormones and what you do, what is going on with your body after the age of 40, after the age of 50, these things do matter and they are impacting us. We have a lot that we're juggling. I mean, never mind that we're dealing with the fact that we're aging and the fact that we have aging parents and the fact that we have kids leaving and we're empty nesting and we're probably still carrying a big load when it comes to our careers and responsibilities with everything we're doing day to day and all of that. And then here we are dealing with hormonal shifts in our own bodies. And it does make a difference. And so we have to advocate for ourselves. And optimization, let me just say, is different than getting your labs and your doctor telling you, well, everything looks normal. And what I like to say to that is, okay, normal compared to who or what, because most doctors are doing the typical labs, and those ranges are based on most of the population at that age. Well, I don't want average. I don't want normal for my age. I want optimized. And that's the reason why I do what I do, because I'm doing my thing through Merrick Health. And so we do, if you go to rockthatfitness.com, you can go and learn about Merrick Health there on the website. And Rockstar ladies, if you're listening to this, you know that you get a special deal signing on with Merrick because you are inside of Rock That Fitness. So go to our website for that. But I'll go ahead and make sure that the link is in the show notes if you want to learn more about Merrick Health. And there's a special, if you go through Rock That Fitness on my website, then there's a special that you get. You don't have to do the full thing that they require if you go directly to Merrick Health. Let me know if you have any questions on that, because it can kind of be confusing and I want to help you. I'll take the confusion out of it. I'm going to help you take the confusion out of it if you reach out to me, and I will share that with you. Now let's transition into, I'm going to talk about my physique goals and how I have navigated my own phases of maintenance, fat loss, and that kind of stuff over the past year. And thankfully, I am optimized when it comes to my hormones. So I don't have that playing a role, but I do remember. It's funny because today I was just looking at my progress pictures from back in June of 24. And I'm like, wow, wow. That was right when I had just started with Merrick. And there's like almost night and day difference in my progress pictures from June 2024 to now, November. Not, yeah, we're November 2025. Wow, and of course, it does come down to the basics that I'm, strength training on a structured plan, and I'm consistent with showing up at the gym. And I am very much dialed in with my nutrition. And Country Boy says I have a very restrictive diet, but that's not really true. I was talking to Brooke about it. She's like, no, you don't. You eat whatever you want. I'm like, I know. I just ate a bunch of bark thins last night, almost 300 calories. I eat the foods that I love. But most of the time I'm eating healthy. And so anyway, what, like I say, I was dealing with injuries and stuff, in the middle of 2024. And so then I was starting on my hormone therapy. And at that time, I was trying to figure out what my maintenance was. I didn't even really know because I wanted to make sure I knew what my maintenance was at the time so that I could do a cut. But I also was getting my hormones balanced out at the time too. So just a side note, if you do start working on these things, I want to assure you, I assure you that it does take time. Just keep being consistent and paying attention to your biofeedback and just keep showing up. Just keep showing up. The changes come, but they are not fast. So if anybody's telling you changes happen fast, just do this. La, 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 la. It's not true. Okay. Slow and steady. That's going to win the race. And so for me, that's what was going on. So over the course of the next, 6 months of 2024, I was dialing in my nutrition for myself at the time, figuring out what was going on. So long story short, I ended up doing and then you had the holidays, all that kind of stuff. But I did a mini cut. Mini cut just means that it was a short period of time that I went into a fat loss phase. And I did that in August this year, August, September. And the cool thing about this last mini cut that I did back in August and September, and I think I did it for a good 8 weeks. I can honestly say I started out and I was going to do 6 weeks and then I ended up doing 8 weeks. And the cool thing is here we are basically mid-November and I have maintained the results that I had for that mini cut. So it's been really great. But here's the key for me that I think is a big difference. I know some people are working towards, well, I don't want to have to track my food anymore. I just want to be free. You can do that. You can totally do that. You can totally get off of tracking your food. You don't have to. You can get an idea of your energy balance and start to know your regular foods that you eat over time. Sure, you can do that. And I can do that too. But what I've noticed, especially as I'm aging, is that I do way better maintaining the physique that I want, which is more lean, more defined. That's what I like for me. It's different for everybody. And so in order for me to do that, I choose to track. I just track all my food every day. That way I know fully well where I'm at when it comes to my maintenance. And so that I think has been playing a really strong key role for me after that mini cut that I did in August and September is just continuing to track. It's just part of what I do. It's not a big deal for me. It is a habit and it doesn't take long at all. It's not anything. And Country Boy puts up with it. I say he puts up with it. He just knows I do. He would be like, you like, he knows that I started tracking regularly again. He was like, oh, you're doing that again? I'm like, no, I've been doing it. I'm happy doing it because I know my energy balance when I do this. And sure, I could not, but what would happen? I'd have a day like last night where I eat bark thins and I'm like, and then another day I do it. Another day I probably start doing it more often. And then slowly over time in a surplus, gaining weight, gaining fat. So this way I stay in check. So I have been in maintenance ever since, September, doing great. I'm actually staying in maintenance also. I don't have a plan to go in a fat loss phase unless I need to. I definitely wanted to be in maintenance because I'm going to be heading into, I was training for this upcoming bike race or bike event, this long ride, this 63-mile ride in Tucson, Arizona. And definitely don't want to be in a deficit when you're trying to train for an event like that. If you are working on, training for a marathon, a half marathon, a triathlon, a long, tour de Tucson ride, this isn't the time to be in a fat loss phase and a calorie deficit. That is not, okay? If you're training for something, that's not the time, especially if you're trying to maintain your muscle mass. So here I am in maintenance, making sure that I'm getting plenty, getting optimized nutrition the way that I do. And also when I'm training, I'm eating more because I'm putting out more energy. So I know myself very well. So know your body and know what season you're in. Now, will I do another fat loss phase? I have thought maybe I will. I might do it in January. I might. But if I do it, it's not going to be because I need to. It might just be because I want to, because I kind of think it's a fun game and I want to see what can I do in January or February. Lean out. Maybe we can do it together. What do you think? We can do it together. What? Maybe I do a little series or something online. I don't know. I'm just kind of thinking about it. Cheers. Take a swig of the water. So my calories when I was in a fat loss phase, and this is something just to note that, how I coach is if you come in to Rock That Fitness, you're going to be working on your own individual nutrition, helping you, giving you some guidance in this so that because everybody is different. Girl, we all have our own individual energy needs. You are a certain height. You are a certain weight. You are a certain age. You have genetics, like you have a certain activity level. You have a history. So it's important that you're not doing some cookie cutter plan. We need to dial in your own personalized nutrition. And so for me sharing with you what my calories are, my protein, my macros, understand that what works for me is something that I have dialed in over the years. So you can't just take what I do and it's going to work for you. So I just feel like I needed to preface that for anybody who thinks I'm just going to do the same thing Anna's doing. Well, you can, but you want to do it for you. Okay. And so I know right now, and plus we have different seasons of our life. Our maintenance calories may be different depending on what's happening in our life at that time. So we don't always know. And that's why whenever I am choosing that I'm going to do maybe a mini cut, I will definitely track all of my food for at least a week to get a baseline. What is my maintenance? I do that too. I'm coaching that. And for those of you who are, you're new to Rock That Fitness and I'm guiding you, I do the same thing, girl. I will track all of my food and drinks, everything for an entire week just to see what my maintenance is right now. And then I will determine my calorie deficit. So when I was doing my fat loss phase in August and September, for me, it was 17 to 1800 calories was my average, right? And then my protein that I was hitting was 160. Something I noticed last year I was having a lot of trouble with my macros. I was like, why am I having so much trouble leaning out? Well, for me, I have quite a bit of muscle mass. And it turns out what I learned was towards the end of 24, beginning of 2025, I discovered that 140 grams of protein was not enough for me. And so I needed more. And so now my minimum is 160 grams of protein. It's going to be different for everybody. So a lot of times I hit 160 and 170, somewhere in there. Some days I won't, it might be 140, but most of the time it's about 160 because I know I need that. So that helped me tremendously, just knowing that. I'm sharing that with you so you can kind of get an idea of, where are you at? What's going on with your nutrition? And do you need to maybe make some changes or increase your protein? So when I'm in maintenance, my maintenance is actually 2,000 to 2,200 calories on average a day. And I'm always the protein is not changing for me, whether I'm in a fat loss phase or whether I'm in, maintenance. whether I'm in maintenance or whether I'm in a fat loss phase, I keep my protein about the same. Obviously, if you're in a fat loss phase, yes, your protein might be a little bit less. Yes, that could happen. And from time to time, it happens more for me when I'm in a fat loss phase. I'm still maintaining, my strength training. And when I was in a fat loss phase, I wasn't pushing it really hard because I didn't have as much I didn't have as much energy. But when I was in my fat loss phase, the goal was not to push hard in the gym. It was just to maintain what I could at the gym without pushing myself hard. Because when you're in a calorie deficit, you are deficient. Like, the word alone is the root word of, deficit comes from deficiency, right? So knowing that you're in a deficiency with your energy, you aren't pushing that hard. Yes, you're pushing, but not really hard. So I wasn't pushing as hard, but yes, making sure I'm still showing up consistently to my strength training 3 days a week, and making sure I'm getting cardio, or at least steps, at least 10,000 steps on average a day. I tend to average more than that. And now let's talk about my injury. I'm going to try to keep this kind of short and sweet, but I hope that that gives you a little, I don't know, encouragement to know that I'm on this journey just like you are. I'm special. You are too. You're special in your own way. I'm special in my own way. But we each need to know what is required to achieve whatever physique goals you have. All right. I'm going to keep this part short and sweet. Basically, if you've been following along, I ended up, it's been a little over a month. I started having some pain in my right knee, which I wasn't really sure what it was. So I rested it, and I guess I wasn't resting it enough. And as you know, I'm training for this big 63-mile bike ride, and yeah, it's getting aggravated. And even when I would rest, I'm like, oh, it feels better. But then when I'd go on my long walks, and later that day, it was like really hurting me. I'm like, something's not right. Well, I went and saw the orthopedic surgeon doctor. Was it yesterday? Yeah, it was yesterday. Day before yesterday. Well, I'm so thankful to find out they did x-rays, and he told me that based on the assessment he did, he moved my knee around, asked me questions and stuff, and he said, this definitely sounds like it's iliotibial band syndrome, IT band syndrome. So it's basically this band that runs along the outside of your leg from your hip all the way down past your knee. It's on the outside. And this band gets flared up. It gets inflamed, and that is what's happening. And he thinks it's because I need to adjust my pedals on my clips to my bike. Because I told him about my last training ride that was 55 miles. And he's like, yeah, it sounds like you need to probably adjust those clips. So there's that. And he recommended that I start rubbing on there some anti-inflammatory gel. I've been doing that. It seems to be helping, and I'm taking ibuprofen. He asked me if I wanted something else to take orally, and I'm like, no, because I'm not into taking medication if I don't have to. So I've been managing in this way. And how this is affecting my movement, definitely in this past week, it hasn't been easy. I've had to really back off on a lot. And I will say that what's hard for me is, it's not hard in the sense, like, in my mind, I know a lot of women, whenever they have an injury or a limitation, they get a little freaked out, like, oh my gosh, I'm going to gain weight and I got to work out. I don't have that mindset, because I understand energy balance. And I also understand that if we're thinking that way, then there's definitely going to be there's a poor relationship with food and exercise. So I just know that when my activity level is decreased, then I don't need as many calories. And I'm also not as hungry for as many calories. So it all works out, right? And I'm not worried about it. But I will say this, what's hard is me not getting to move like I want to, because I have like Energizer Bunny energy pent up inside of me that needs to get out. So today I actually got down my mountain bike. I had a flat on it. I had to repair real quick. And then I went out on that because I was like, I'm not going to go on a long walk because it's going to aggravate it. And I've been doing stretches for it. And Yeah, so that's what I've been doing for this, and I'm just really, really hoping and praying, God, please heal this so I can do I'm still gonna go on this ride in Tucson. I'm ready, even if I don't get to do another long training ride, which I don't plan to because I want to show up to this fresh and recovered as I can. But emotionally, how is that impacting me emotionally? Not too it's not too bad, but I will say this, and I'm sure you can relate to this. When I've been getting ready to go to the gym in the mornings, or I get to the gym, I have been dragging my feet. I noticed this the last was it yesterday? Yeah. And I was in the parking lot, just dilly-dallying, procrastinating, and it's like, "What's going on here?" You know what's going on? Your brain is, like, not wanting to experience the pain. I didn't want to experience the pain. And I was experiencing pain with some of the movements, right? And also the pain of not getting to do the things I want to do. There's an emotional pain there. So it's interesting to be aware of our brains keeping us back. But I still show up. You're still going to show up, do what you can, do what you're able. And that's what I've been doing. Focusing on the things that I can do and still showing up to do the things that you can do if you have an injury or a limitation, because that's going to keep you moving. That's going to keep your body active, and that's good for your physical health, and it's good for your mental health because it's way easier to keep the momentum going than it is to start over. And too many women are, when they have an injury or a limitation, they just quit because they have a block in their mind. Like, I just have to wait till I get well. But you don't. You can still move. You have other parts of your body you can move. Show up in any way that you can so that you can overcome and have victory and be winning, right? We want to tell our brain we are winning. So I'm excited because next week, when this episode drops next week, I will already be heading out to Tucson. Well, not on Monday, but I don't remember if it's Wednesday or Thursday. I need to take a look at my plans. But yes, I'm still going and I'm very much excited and I can't wait. So this is bringing me to wrap up this episode. And thanks for listening to all this. I really do hope that there was something in here that maybe helped you kind of think about your own journey and documenting your journey. And how are things going for you in terms of your own optimization, your own health optimization, and a reminder to you that maintenance is important, and knowing what your maintenance is important. And if you've been in a fat loss phase for a long time, I want to encourage you to take a calorie deficit break. Take a fat loss break and go into maintenance so that your body, your metabolism can restore, recover, and maintain responsiveness. Because when we are in a fat loss phase for a very long period of time, what's happening is that your metabolism is down regulating and it will adjust to the lower calories. And we don't want that. We want to stay responsive. We want our metabolism to stay responsive. So take a break. Let your body get back to maintenance. Let your metabolism balance out. And, a week or two, and then go back into your fat loss phase. So maintenance is not the end of progress. Like I say, maintenance is actually mastery, and maintenance takes work. Knowing it, doing it, knowing what your maintenance is, that also is a challenging thing. Maintain your strength training, girl. Keep showing up at the gym. Keep getting your strength training in, even if it's at home with your dumbbell and bands. You advocate for yourself, because if we're not getting stronger, what's happening? I'm not going to say it. We've got to stay strong, got to optimize, got to keep on showing up consistently. Show up consistently, not randomly. You're not going to stay strong and build muscle randomly. You do that for yourself. You're the only one that can. Okay. And then make adjustments as you need to and stay consistent. And remember, consistency is not perfection, right? So just because you can't show up for an hour doesn't mean you can't show up. Show up anyway, even if it's for 30 minutes. If you need to abbreviate your workout, abbreviate it. You're going to benefit so much more from just abbreviating it than not doing it at all, because it's cut it short. We're not here for perfection. Those who are successful are those who realize that they need to still show up consistently, not perfectly. Show up imperfectly. So just reflect on where you're at with your health, your fitness, in your life, and give yourself grace and compassion. We're dealing with a lot. Okay. And you're not alone. I just assure you, you're not alone. We're navigating this. We're doing it. We're not going to just give in, throw in the towel. And because if you feel like I'm just struggling right now, Anna, I hear you. And I want to say kudos to you. And I celebrate the fact that you care enough. You're listening to this and you're taking steps. That says volumes about you because most women are not. So just take the next step of what you need to do. Do not be overwhelmed. Like, don't allow all of the noise out there to distract you from what you need to do for yourself. You're right. It's not complicated. It's very simple. So just take those steps for yourself. Even if it's just one step, what can you do today to take action towards the changes that you want to make to improve your health and fitness? What's that one thing? Just start there. That's all it takes. And then keep showing up for yourself in that so that you can prove to yourself, right? You can learn to trust yourself that you are going to show up. You are going to do what you said you're going to do. And you're going to reap the rewards of that. Okay. And if you're listening to this episode today and you're realizing I love guidance, I would love to have guidance. If you're thinking I need structure and I would love to have a community of women walking this journey. If that's you and you would love to have that, then I want to invite you once again to join us inside of Rock That Fitness. And the way to do that is get on the priority list so you know when we open the doors up next. I don't have a date right now, but you will be the first to know when we open up the doors. And then you can rest assured that you're going to have the tools to help you. You're going to have a system in place, a structured system, and not a cookie cutter plan, but something that's individualized for you as you navigate your own health and fitness journey. And as we're aging, we don't have a choice whether we're going to age or not, but we do have a choice on if we're going to age strong and healthy and fit. So I would love the opportunity to be your coach inside of Rock That Fitness and bring you on in to the family, and you will see how Rockstars, if you're listening, this is a community like none other, and I am just so honored to be a part of it. And if that's you on the outside, I want to invite you in here to find out what it's all about. Thank you so much for listening. If you enjoyed this episode, if you got something out of it, I want to encourage you to share it with somebody. Thank you for listening to my journey. Everything I do and all that I have learned as a nurse, as a coach, and as a coach of Rock That Fitness and all of the women that I serve, all of the things, all of this is part of the Rockstar way. And I'm so happy to share it. And thank you for listening to it. So that's all I got for you. I love you. And I just want to encourage you to make sure that you're doing this thing. Self-care, self-love all day, every day, in every way. Do I have your word? Good. Let's rock.